speech. I don't know if I can just move this round a bit. So we've got a whole selection of individuals. A man can't be a woman. Keep trans ideology out of schools. A man can't become a woman. So a lot of it's anti the neutering of men and women. The SNP tolerance doesn't shut up people you the SNP tolerance doesn't mean you shut up people you disagree with. But my question is, if somebody was to sing Muhammad was a pedo, Muhammad was a pedo, la 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 la, la 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 la, I don't know if they would get locked up or that would be seen as an accurate reflection of the child rapist Muhammad's life and the people that follow a paedophilic child death cult, as I rightly pointed out many years before. And now we've got in this parliament at least two people, probably more than that, who've sworn on a religious book that indoctrinates people into sexual slavery, child slavery, and the raping of women and children. So I'm not quite sure if how that's going to be critiqued and how that's going to play out with the hate speech bill, because obviously that would be an accurate critique if you've actually read the Quran, what it actually says. So this is where we're at just now. This is the new move towards anti-free speech and the new authoritarianism that's coming out of the left. This is very much a cross-pronged thing. This is very much the globalists. This is not just happening in Scotland, and it's important for people to know. This is happening in all Western countries. The globalists under the WEF and the Bilderberg Group and other quasi-non-elected bodies are doing this across the whole of the Western world. It's happening in Ireland, it's happening everywhere. The underlying globalist agenda is still there, and the agenda is to shut people up and thereby utilisation of the left-wing parties. Don't forget, even the liberals, the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats actually wanted this bill to come through because they're in bed, they're basically globalist shills as well. So I don't know if they are actually going to be able to be forgiven. The Labour Party were involved in this being transformed or put through from a bill to an act. They all voted for it as well. But the hate speech bill only applies to certain individuals, so it doesn't apply. It's not a liberal thing. It's not an actual liberal bill or act now. This only affects certain parts of the overall community. The liberal position would treat everybody the same that actually overcomes the bill. The illiberal position is to target certain groups. That's what the Nazis did. The Nazis are exactly the same as this bill. They said these groups are protected, these other groups aren't. And that's basically what actually happened with them. Exactly, it's a Nazi-esque bill, this. It's supported by Labour, the SNP, the Greens, the illiberal Liberals and a Conservative. But the Conservatives have been bringing in this propaganda and don't think the Conservatives are any less a globalist shell organisation than any of the other parties that are elected just now in the Scottish Parliament. They're all shilling for the globalists, they're all in the globalist manifesto, they're all bringing the same policies, not even the same policies inside the UK, but these policies are the same policies throughout the world. And anybody who disagrees with them is shadow banned. We've already seen their MO, and now they're wanting to lock people up for up to 7 years. These are real sick individuals. Real sick individuals. So, what have we got here? We've got people, this is a very much a cross-selection of individuals. This is going from the left to right. This is not a right wing or a left wing or a centrist. This is probably a libertarian audience versus the authoritarianism that's coming out of the five parties within this building. This is not a left or right. There's probably, if I went through these people, they would be from left and right, but probably the thing that combines them is libertarianism, not a left, right, centre thing. That's a very shallow way of some presenters describing the politics. This is more libertarianism with other contexts versus authoritarianism under the fascist Hamas useless. So we don't have this is not, I just want to say again, it's not a left-right thing. It's authoritarianism versus the globalist authoritarianism of wanting to have a one world government, a one world currency, and being governed by a technocracy. So that's what this is, and governed by a fascist, an Islamo-fascist like Hamza Useless. So that's basically what. Let me move this around a bit. An Islamo-fascist like Hamza Useless, and changing it to Islamo-fascist like Aina Sarwar isn't a change. That's not a change. They voted for exactly the same bill as Hamas Useless did. Apparently his windows get put in last night. I don't know if that was connected to his drug-dealing family, where apparently his brother-in-law is allegedly up for heroin dealing, and then when he got released, some guy flew out a window. Completely natural. A bit like homosexuals flying off buildings because of the Quran in Gaza. Although I don't think there's very many high buildings left, but the fact is that people don't really understand the killing of homosexuals is intrinsic to Islam. So I don't know if that comes under hate speech, but as far as I'm aware, that you don't actually, if you're part of the religion, you're protected, but if you're not part of the religion, you're not protected. That's a very quite close up there. So you're not protected, so only some groups, and this is why this is backdoor blasphemy laws, only some groups are protected and other groups aren't. Only certain individuals are protected. So white straight men, this is targeting white straight men, they've already said it. Hamas Useless has already said he's targeting through the police white straight men from 18 to 30. They're the only ones that can actually be racist apparently, or bigoted, and certainly under this law they don't get any protection. So this is a bigoted law right from the start, to protect his wee pals down the mosques. And don't forget, Hamza Useless didn't vote for the gay rights bill. He didn't vote for that because obviously it goes against his religious beliefs. But Hamza has been bringing in backdoor Sharia law in various aspects, increasing the drinks prices, bringing it, decriminalising rape if you're under 25. There's a number of things that he's actually done to actually bring in Sharia law, and because people aren't really aware of what Sharia law actually means or how it impacts the populace, he's able to sneak it in without any understanding or any pushback from the populace. And certainly either the SNP or just another GIMP party like Labour, a globalist Islamo-Marxist party. In fact, I would say all of the political parties are basically just GIMP parties now. And globalist occupied. They're all authoritarian, and they're all basically following the same agenda. Let me move this forward a bit because there'll be speeches, I think. So I just want to make sure you get the speeches in here. So this authoritarianism is becoming part of the reason is because in Islam is authoritarian. It's also Islam's a political ideology. There isn't two Islams. There's only one Islam, and everybody knows what that Islam is. And it's an authoritarian ideology. And why are we surprised when authoritarianism comes in through policy when the two Muslims are the head of the two largest political parties in Scotland? As George Galloway, it's like two cheeks of the same asshole. So I don't know what Anus is saying to this. But I don't think he would not be any different. They're just going to be, it's going to be the same underlying policies. This unionism versus nationalism, where that one policy has not moved one jot in the last 10 years. And I'll show you the crowd here, it's starting to gather up. Scottish Libertarian flag, family party flag. Hamza out. That's the TERF women, trans exclusionary women. So let me, I've seen somebody I know. It should be good. Shawnee Boy, it's not Shawnee Boy, it's thing from the family party. So, this is the speeches are going to start, starting at 1:30. The speeches are going to start. This has been organised by the Glasgow Cabbie, and there's obviously a lot of groups and organisations that are against this fascism by Humza Useless, an absolute doughball. This is Hamas Useless's Waterloo. He is now finished. He's now completely done. He'll be out within a matter of weeks after the backlash here. It's affecting women. It's affecting white straight men. This is deliberately designed to target certain people. They're trying to now bring in a misogyny bill that only affects men as well. This is completely bigoted and one-sided bills and policies that have been brought through by the so-called Scottish National Party, the fake Nationals. How you doing, mate? You're on. Do you want to say anything?
We're
just
live.
Now?
We're here at the funeral for free speech. The coffin will be arriving in about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Congratulations for your standing for the family party. How did you get on? Do you want to tell him?
Yeah, so we're on par with Reform. We got 319 votes. Reform got 400. We're not too far away. We're on par. We're at 1% voting. We're building and building.
I saw your thing the other day. Who was the gentleman you were talking to the other day about the free speech thing? There was something on you were speaking to somebody just the other day in a one-to-one conversation.
I can't remember.
I've
had so many conversations.
There was a guy you were speaking to just the other day, and he was on YouTube, and I got up there. What's the family party's policy on this bill?
We will repeal this bill.
Uh-huh.
We will repeal it 100%. Just like the GRR, that is completely fictitious, completely nonsense. We'll repeal that right back to the beginning of 2004.
Do you think you and the Scottish Libertarian parties here, I see some of that as well as the women as well?
The Scottish Libertarian Party are great friends of mine. We've got we're at kindred spirits.
Yeah.
And it's all about the spirit of rebellion against this horrific law, this Orwellian law.
1984. Do you think that's because of Humza's fascistic undertones from his religion?
I mean, it may very well may be. This is very akin to a blasphemy law being brought in the back door. Very akin to that.
There's other things like increasing alcohol prices, and there's other things that are actually being done that people like increasing sexual assault charges to 25 and things like that. Obviously, the Prophet Muhammad had sex slaves, and he had a woman called Mary the Cock, and that's why ISIS had sex slaves as well. Is that something that we should be worried about, having the leaders of both Labour and SNP swearing on the Quran whose prophet had actually sex slaves?
Well, it's interesting that it's not only is it the funeral for free speech today, it's almost the passing of the torch. It's like, you know, once we were a Christian nation, and now it doesn't feel so much like a Christian nation, does it? You would think that with the dropping of alcohol prices, it seems like they're trying to make this a mecca for Muslims to come here. Who knows, maybe the age of consent will drop as well.
Yeah, well, they've increased it, haven't they, to 25? Is that not? That's what they did as well, didn't they?
I think what they're planning on doing is using this UN definition of adolescence in order to bring the age down.
But it's all through the back door. People don't really understand that this is all Quranically based, but it's through the back door.
Well, as we get to grips with this thing, we're going to understand it in more real terms over the next few months. Who it's going to be specifically used against. We know from the Police Scotland publication that it's looking like 18 to 30-year-old white males are going to be targeted.
That's right.
Is
that not racist, sexist, and ageist in itself?
It's entirely. This is a critical race theory stuff. It does not make sense, but it's put into law. The only people who are going to be able to get criminalised with this law are going to be white people. That's it. End of. Nice meeting
Good
you.
to see you. Are you going to be talking?
Yes, I am.
Do you think this is a worry for three aspects: the globalist side, the Islamic side, and the Marxist side? They've got this GIMP ideology, globalist Islamo-Marxist parties. This GIMP ideology that's come in, and it's come in internationally on the back of the WEF and being supported by all the mainstream parties.
This is absolutely wonderful if you're a globalist. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, this is it's about the best day of your life if you're a globalist, because we're curbing people's speech. You're not going to be able to speak out against this stuff, and here we are. But I mean, see this crowd now. It's absolutely getting massive. So the spirit of rebellion's live and kicking in Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good, good stuff. Well, we'll get a wee chat with you later on, man. It's always good
Pleasure
to
as
see
always,
you.
my friend.
Nice to see you.
Oh, how you doing? Oh, well, good to see you.
Did you get my email?
Did I get your email?
I said to you last time we were together to come on board and get a wee interview. Or I'll come on with you, whatever you choose.
I don't know if I did.
We'll have a wee chat later.
We need to do that again.
That's no problem.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
You know, it's fine. It's been it's a good. You've got a good channel. Right, well, I'm going to let things heat up just now because it's getting a bit busy and to get the sponsors. Yes, how you doing, John? You well? There you are, there, Mister. How you doing, Craig? Craig, welcome to Guerilla TV. Craig Houston has got his own channel. He's doing a lot of great political stuff. Do you watch the Guerilla TV? Yeah. I think a lot of people do it as a wee guilty pleasure.
I think we all get the same sort of audience.
And you've been with the Silver Fox as well. It's been very interesting hearing the two of you speak as well, Craig.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Do you think this Islamofascism is cottoning on, is it?
Well, there's certainly something at play here. And if you want to be carried on, it's all about...
James saying, John saying, nice one, Craigie boy.
Thanks, John. Was this live?
You're going live,
Better watch my words, I can't edit it out.
or not, as the case may be.
I think there's obviously something about that to dress it up as looking after everybody when everybody isn't allowed to be protected in the law. So yeah, I think there's more to this than meet the eye, and I think the byproduct of the law, the people being scared to talk, will be the biggest issue. People just scared to get involved in debate. So it'll quell debate, and that is...
or quell even expressions, because this is an unquantifiable bill, so it's completely subjective. So how are you going to police it? So your thing that might be hateful, and a thing about I say might not be hateful to me, and you might decide that it's hateful. It's completely subjective. How can you have a subjective act?
Well, it's very open, and that's possibly by design. But as I say, byproduct, there'll be many people picked up their phones today and gone on their laptops to put things on social media and probably stalk themselves. Now, regardless of what they wanted to say, that stifles debate. And society needs debate. But when you've got people in this building that don't want debate, and when you stalk out against them, what I have, you have the First Minister tweeting about someone who passes information on to the press, who is me, and I refer to them as an Islamophobic conspiracy theorist. That's the society we're in.
Well, apparently his windows got put in last night. Do you think that's anything to do with his alleged drug dealing brother-in-law or anything like that?
I don't comment on that for the simple reason. I've been hearing for 3 days they get done in last night, so I don't know if there's any truth in it. And certainly I wouldn't be advocating that if that was the case. So I don't know if that is actual fact.
But obviously his brother-in-law was involved allegedly with heroin dealing, and then a guy got thrown out the window. Do you think that's anything to do with it?
Well, criminals that get involved in the drug trade are nasty people. So it's the sort of thing that might, if it's even happened at all, then it's a possibility. It doesn't necessarily need to be political.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Islamophobic.
Exactly. Yeah. Or he could have done it himself.
Imagine that,
so it's just a bit coincidental, isn't it?
If it's happened, I have my doubts, and the reason I have doubts that it's happened is that if it was to have happened, I would imagine Hamza would have been out telling everybody about it. He seems to like to be the victim.
Yeah, that's right. And this is a victim law, isn't it? This is very much a victim-centred law.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it did happen, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but what I'm saying is if it did happen, I would imagine Hamza would have reacted by now.
Well, listen, we'll let you set up, Craig. So Craig Houston has got his own podcast, talks about politics as well. So if you want to get a hold of Craig Houston, You'll be able to get him on YouTube. He's on YouTube as well as other good social media sites.
When you see my phone number, I'll get you that.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate support. You're going to be leaving that there while this thing's got
Aye, you going? Aye. That's fine, aye.
There's a wee magnetic
Mike?
mic. There's a mic there. But I was going to stick it there. Somebody's knocked it off me.
Oh no, aye, somebody knocked my mic as well. That's the second one as well.
If you see a mic, it's only, to be fair, it's so small. It sits. See that size? It's about that. But as long as that. Well, it's got one of them, a wee choty one, but it's magnetic as well. So you still live?
Still live, mate.
Hi, folks. Sorry, if you find my microphone, give me a shout.
We're missing a mic, so if anybody's find Craig's mic, yeah, we'll keep going live, Craig. That's it. We'll keep going live.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to kick off in the next 2 minutes. Next 2 minutes. Brace yourself, Hamza.
Hey buddy, I'm live.
Oh, sorry, mate. I saw you last week.
Was it live? Didn't you last week?
You were over there. Okay, mate.
Who you work for? Oh, good mate. Guerilla TV.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome. Warm welcome. You might be feeling a bit cold, but we're here to bring the heat. Bring the heat to the Parliament. What a turnout. What a wonderful turnout. And boy, do we have a lineup for you. First of all, my name is David Richardson. I pastor a church in the West End of Glasgow, and I'm the Deputy Chairman of the Scottish Family Party. Great to be here. Great to be here with so many people who are prepared to stand up and prepared to take off the sticker and shout loud. Make it ever so clear. We're not going to lie down to this bill. So without further ado, I want you to give a very, very warm welcome to a dear friend of all of us. Please welcome the Glasgow Cabbie.
Wow, this is absolutely fantastic to see so many of you here today. I'm quite stunned. Just brilliant. Now I'm going to be reading my speech for the very first time from my phone today, which may be a wee bit awkward because I don't get to look around a lot at your faces as I speak to you. So basically it's hello ladies and gentlemen, if we're allowed to say that. In the crazy woke world we now live in, where people are so easily offended, it's frightening. And a lot of these fruitcake people come from various groups and some political parties. I hope you've all had a lovely Easter. I'd firstly like to say a huge thanks to everyone who has made the effort to come along to Holyrood today. It's fabulous to see so many of you on this unusual April Fool's Day. Can anybody tell me, did J.K. Rowling come along? I'd also like to say a special thanks to Richard Lucas of the Scottish Family Party, who took time out to organise much of this event, even though Richard himself couldn't be here through family commitments. The last time we came together here at Holyrood was to demonstrate against the gender reforms on the 12th of January 2023, just over a year ago. Thankfully, Nicola Sturgeon resigned as First Minister only 5 short weeks after our protests against Scott Gov's GRR bill. We've gathered here on this unique day to demonstrate against Humza Yousaf's shambolic and dangerous new Hate Crime Act. This act has now been forced upon us in this country, and oh, the irony of this hateful, spiteful hate crime law coming into play on April Fool's Day. You couldn't make this up, that on the nation's traditional practical joke day, Humza Useless and friends, along with Police Scotland, enforce such a draconian new law, criminalising free speech in this country. It is absolutely disgraceful. The Scottish Police Federation have stated that this new law is not fit for purpose, as well as telling anyone who'll listen it's a recipe for disaster. Humza, the man who gets away with spitting the word white with venom, is possibly Scotland's most well-known and infamous bigoted racist who wants to end free speech in this country, forcing all of us to live in silence and only to do as we're told under his horrid dictatorship. Just as SNP officials and politicians are currently being investigated for stolen, ring-fenced, indirect public donations and embezzlement, the Scottish Government are still under police investigation on corporate manslaughter charges under health and safety law. This is in relation to COVID deaths in care homes due to the huge scale of blunders made and the alleged attempts to cover them up. And yet here we have Humza stretching police resources to the very limit as they now investigate every single hate crime complaint made in this country. I think we were making some complaints against Humza Useless. This is not only absolutely insane, it's also unmanageable and unworkable. Thank you all for listening. I'm now going to pass you on to Stuart Waiton, an academic, and Stuart will intrigue you with what he has to say. Stuart Waiton.
Hello, my name's Stuart Waiton. I'm the chairperson of the Scottish Union for Education. Hopefully you'll all end up with one of these leaflets that will tell you all about us and what we're trying to do. We set up a year ago with the strapline, education, not indoctrination. One of the first things we did was to produce a pamphlet explaining everything that was wrong about the promotion of transgender ideology in schools, and it is being promoted in schools. Subsequently, we found out that nursery schools were also helping to promote this ideology to 3- and 4-year-old children. Will our challenge to the government and the education authorities about their transgender indoctrination now be deemed a hate crime? Perhaps they will now go after J.K. Rowling for her tweets. If they do, we should all shout, "I am J.K. Rowling." Retweet what she has said and challenge them to come after all of us. Not much has been said about how the Hate Crime Act will affect children and young people, but schools egged on by councils like Edinburgh Council, for example, are ramping up their demand that hate be reported to the police. As a result, it is highly likely that children will face a visit from the police for calling each other names. You may have heard of the hate reporting hubs. There are 411 of them across Scotland, places where you're encouraged to report hate. Some of these hate hubs are universities. And so we find ourselves in a position where universities that receive anonymous complaints, like the ones against me for being transphobic, apparently, will now be passed to the police. And as a result, hundreds, possibly thousands of staff and students could end up with a record of hate against their name and be blacklisted and face the prospect of being refused employment based on what could be nothing more than a vexatious and utterly false allegation. This is modern progressive Scotland, apparently. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak to you today, and I want to thank Steph, the Glasgow cabbie as he's known, for organising this. Steph, I don't think he would mind saying, is an ordinary guy, but an ordinary guy who has done extraordinary things. And I think he's an example for all of us, because it's only when people stand up and take themselves seriously and start to organise themselves that we'll have a chance to get rid of this crap. They are trying to force their values onto the rest of us. They're doing it through law, and they're doing it through the indoctrination of our children. And if you, we collectively want to do something about it, we've got to organise. Check out the Scottish Union for Education, and hopefully we can all do something extraordinary in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Glasgow cabbie. We will soon be hearing from Rosemary, a profound tweeter and blogger with a female perspective. But first, just let me read a short statement from Richard Lucas, the leader of the Scottish Family Party, who was very sad he couldn't be here today. "I am very disappointed not to be among this freedom-loving throng today. If Humza thinks Scotland will just roll over and sacrifice our hard-won freedoms, he's in for a shock. Thanks for raising your voice today. Have a great day and go to bed knowing that you have struck a blow for freedom." Thank you, Richard. A warm welcome, please, for Rosemary Cameron.
Hello there. Right, I've been to a few funerals in my time, but I never expected to be going to a funeral for free speech in Scotland, home of the Enlightenment, in Edinburgh, the Athens of the North, outside Holyrood Palace, where John Knox and Mary Queen of Scots had ding-dong arguments about religion, without ending up with a non-crime hate incident or whatever it's called put against them. I'm really glad to see so many people here. Free speech was obviously well loved. Free speech will be missed. In fact, I am hoping that free speech is not going to stay dead for long. I am hoping for a resurrection for free speech on this Easter Monday. And when that happens, the April Fools will be Humza Yousaf and all the MSPs who supported this hate crime bill. The Scottish Parliament behind me was meant to give Scots a voice. Now they are trying to silence us. Humza Yousaf likes to paint himself as a progressive, but he's taking Scotland back to the dark ages of witch hunts. And just like witch hunts tended to target women, I believe women will be targeted by this pernicious hate crime bill. Women like me, women who are just going on to social media and maybe retweeting a few things that they like, or sharing something on Facebook. We are going to be targeted. It will be weaponized against us to target us and silence us. Amen! Preach it, sister! Scotland will no longer be able to call itself a democracy when free speech is dead and half the population has been silenced. I was brought up to respect and trust the police and to believe that they would help me if I needed them. Now I fear a knock at the door because of something I've retweeted. That is sad. That is sad. I don't blame the police. I blame the SNP for politicising them. I blame Humza Yousaf. I blame Humza Yousaf for eroding our trust in the police and turning them into the thought police. I also blame Humza for creating division in Scottish society. This bill will set children against children, as we've already heard. Children against parents, friends against friends, colleagues against colleagues, with this Clype's charter of Humza's. We're not even safe from this horrible bill in our own homes. Although I tell you, if I invite somebody for dinner and then they dog me into the police, they'll not be getting another invite. But this is not my Scotland, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the Scotland I recognise. It's not the Scotland I grew up in. It's not the Scotland I want to see going forward. I am not prepared to have anyone tell me what I can and cannot say. It's sad that I've had to do this in a way, but I have joined the Free Speech Union. And I would encourage you to do the same, because there's strength in numbers. Together we will resist this hateful, divisive attack on our rights. Humza's hate crime bill needs to get in the bin.
Thank God for a real woman, eh? What is a woman? It's an adult female, isn't it? But they all struggle to answer that question. Well, I think we've just seen a real woman, haven't we, eh? She's got a womb. A woman kitchen, hey, that's what we like. Here, our next speaker, I'm proud to tell you he's my friend, but also a colleague as the chairman of the Scottish Family Party. A warm welcome to Leo Linehan.
Hello everyone. You know, it wasn't just the SNP. You've got the Greens, the Liberal Democrats, the Labour, they all voted for this. They all voted for it. I think we need a song. Why, oh, why, belong in your heart. Why, oh why? You know, one of the great things we have in Scotland, though, is the regional lists. And it's put the Greens into the Parliament time and time again with a very small percentage of the vote. They've never won a constituency. But now they've got that influence in the Parliament. We need parties in the Parliament who are going to come into the Parliament and repeal this legislation. We have, unfortunately, many people. They go out and they vote for the same party time and time again. Oh, they like their local candidate. But that local candidate is supporting a party that brings in hate crime laws. That's what's happening. Kate Forbes remains in the SNP, but presents herself as conservative. It's not acceptable. You have the opportunity to vote in the future for new parties, one of which is the Scottish Family Party. So I urge you to look closely at your alternatives. Don't just do the same thing again and then complain later on about things like the hate crime bill.
It beats the Greeks.
Coming. Yes, indeed. So, why oh why? Why oh why, Humza? Well, it's to serve his own interest. It's to serve division in Scotland. That's what it serves. We won't have that. We want our children to be educated in fact and in truth, not in lies. Thanks for your support today. Thanks for supporting Seth. All the best.
We've got a general election coming up. No prizes for who's going to get an absolute stuffing in the general election. This government's coming down. It's coming down in instalments, unfortunately. We're going to have to wait for the Scottish Parliament to meet for an election the year after. But it's being dealt with. And judging by this turnout and your response, this is just the beginning of the downfall. I'm looking forward to hearing from a man called John Watt. Do we have John Watt here? Or am I going to say, what on earth? He's not here. So I'm looking for a David Scott. David Scott, who's going to step up. A warm welcome for David.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here to mourn the passing of freedom in our land. We cannot know how the new hate crime bill will be applied, nor can we know exactly who will be targeted first. For that is the way of the total state. Pastor Martin Niemöller knew this when he wrote the poem First They Came For. The UK Supreme Court, when striking down another SNP attack on liberty, their creepy Orwellian child-watching scheme named person, also knew this, for they said the first thing that a totalitarian regime tries to do is to get at the children, to distance them from the subversive varied influence of their families and indoctrinate them in their rulers' view of the world. So who will our politicised police and institutionally corrupt Crown Office come after first? It could be any of us. It could be a man who might call a politician a name. It could be a children's author who might call a biological male a man. It could be the owner of a nursery school who refuses a place for the child of the politically powerful. That's the thing with the fascist system. You never know who will be the target, so everyone feels the fear, and many become informers. In times characterized by wisdom, the law was a simple thing. It can reside in the human heart and can be expressed in a few words. Love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and all thy soul and all thy might, and love your neighbour as yourself. But Hamza's new law is mysterious, it's unknowable, it's unpredictable. It will be used to indoctrinate our people into our rulers' view of the world. And when our rulers talk grandiloquently of their values, remember this means the resentful, narrow, materialistic and bitter worldview, the ideology that they demand that we swear fealty to. And why do they do this? Because they hate our nation. Because a nation is like a family. It has the strength to encompass differences. It understands patience and love and loyalty and duty. It inspires courage and it grants dignity. It does not do this by means of imposing uniformity, nor by controlling thought or manipulating emotions or generating fear. Rather, it inspires a voluntary and loving commitment of each individual man and woman. Hamza cannot inspire. Instead, he imposes, he coerces, he bullies, he threatens. And that is what the hate crime bill is, a means of coercion, a means of silencing dissent using the police. The bill exists because its authors' ideas are corrupt and they seek darkness to cover their evil. The truth is to be criminalised. Honesty is to be outlawed and thought is to be suppressed. Ladies and gentlemen, our law has fallen into the long sleep. Let not our hearts do likewise. Let us resist. We can do this in many simple ways. We can never miss an opportunity to tell the truth. We can always and everywhere reject lies. We can decide not to live in fear, and we can love one another. If we do this, we can yet make the evil represented by this pernicious law irrelevant. But the simple step of choosing a better law of our own free will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to take every opportunity, haven't we, to let them know where we stand. We're not just one or two, are we? We're not even just 1 or 200. Goodness me, this is a wonderful crowd. And may our voice always be loud and clear. We're not lying down to this. We're not accepting this. Here's something I want to share with you before I get a dear friend of mine, Gareth, and the Deputy Chairman of the Scottish Family Party, to address us for a few moments. We have the truth on our side. And the good book says this: if you've got the truth will set you free. Hallelujah. A warm welcome to Gareth as he steps forward to speak loud and clear.
Thank you very much. As you might have noticed, Richard isn't here at the moment, the leader of the Scottish Family Party. He's out doing what the Scottish Family Party would have you do most, and that's spend time with family. And that's where we should be, spending time with family. But no, we are here demonstrating against this hate crime act. And I think it's not because we want to, it's because we absolutely have to. The Scottish Family Party. The Scottish Family Party. Hey, sorry. Hello! That's much louder. Right. So the Scottish Family Party, for us, one of the key things is family. And we think that this act is actually not supporting any families. It's not supporting you. It's not supporting anyone who's actually going to be used by it. Who it is supporting is going to be these minorities who are actually going to be the radicals and the extremists. They're going to use this as a weapon against the average, everyday person, the yous and the me's, those who are interested in protecting our families and our children. We won't let them. And so when we see the Scottish Family Party, we say, when we see Richard Lucas has already had one of these against him. He's had it against him just because of his view of family. And that's the same view that this entire society was built on. It's the view that the ideal for a child is to have a mum and a dad. And he's already had a hate incident recorded by the police. And the problem is, the police didn't ask what his opinion was. They didn't ask for his version of the statement. They asked one person's view. And that's the problem we have. There's no appeal. There is simply one person's view. And it's not going to be your view. It's going to be the view of the person who's going to, the radical or the extremist used against you. That is the only view that counts. You see, the SNP, they are not an extremist political party. This is an extremist political policy. And there are more coming. If you think there's only one, they are just warming up. So I tell you now, that this extreme political party, if you're thinking you're going to get independence, it will not be through the SNP. It will be through another party, not through an extreme party. And so I can tell you now that I have one thing to say. Mene, mene, tekel parson. The kingdom is divided and shall not stand. I leave with this closing comment. The SNP days are numbered. Thank you very much.
What on earth? We found John Watt. How about that? Let's hear what John has to say, and let's hear him speak the truth and be set free.
What's happening in Scotland? How many here know my story? How many here know about my story in regards to what happened to me and the people of Scotland? My name is John Watt, and I'm one of the vaccine injured in this country. And this government have failed myself and the people of this country. The people of Scotland that took that vaccine and have been left to rot. So who do we rely on? I've been in that building. I've been kicked out, had a 6-month ban. I went face to face with Rishi Sunak. Did I hear anything? Nothing. This government is failing every single one of us. We all have a duty of care to look after Scotland and the people of Scotland. That man there, Humza useless, is failing us. The mainstream media are failing us. And Police Scotland are failing us. The longer and longer as this goes on, I'm beginning to think I need to become a politician. Because all you need is a good heart and a moral compass. Fuck your hate speech. This is our flag. This is our salt tire. William Wallace is ashamed right now. So Scotland, I'm telling every single one of you, do not be afraid. Do never back down. Because that's not what Scotland's all about. Every single one of you, bring the fucking noise.
As a pastor of a Christian church, let's just bring the noise, eh? Let's just bring any children here, we apologise, but you feel the passion, don't you? It gets to you, doesn't it? It's infectious. Wow. Now I have another young lady to listen to. And I want you to give a warm welcome to Penny Lewis.
I'm a member of the Free Speech Union. I'm a member of Academics for Academic Freedom, and I'm a member of the Scottish Union for Education. I'm probably a member of other organisations as well. I urge everyone here today to link up with the organisations that are here to think about how we can change the culture in Scotland today. There's no doubt that the Hate Crime Act is a spectacular attack on our liberties. It comes on the back of a whole series of really bad laws, restrictions on what parents can do in the home, the Named Person Act, laws and policies to stop us travelling into cities, and a whole range of other ridiculous policies that involve telling us what we should think and what we should say. On the positive side, it's great to see so many people here today. It's great to come to an event which is a little scary because you don't know quite how it's going to come out, and to find that you're surrounded by people that feel the same way that you do. Yes. It's good. It's a bit like going to the movies, but you can talk to the people beside you. You can get that sense that you're not a stranger in your own country. And I'm feeling this thing here today, despite the rain and despite the cold, and it's quite an unfamiliar thing. But you know what it is? It is freedom. This is freedom. This is democracy in action. You can say what you want here, and we need to practice the act of saying what we want and saying what we think. I'm here because I work at a university. Universities are places where you expect a freedom of expression and of conscience, but it's not happening. I teach in Dundee and I teach in China. In China, they have cameras in the classrooms, and there are certain issues which you must never talk about. In Scotland, it's almost the same conditions. We don't have cameras in the classrooms, but in fact we have something worse. We have a complacency. Yes. We have an idea that somehow we still live in a democracy. We don't recognise the authoritarianism that has come upon us in a different guise. The principal from our university wrote 2 messages to staff and students last week before this bill came into act. He said, "Let me be clear, we will not tolerate hate crimes." He threatened his staff and his students without telling us what constituted a hate crime. And that's part of the problem. We think that this law will stop politics and will stop public debate. It won't just do that. It will stop everybody feeling that they're free to talk to people in their fitness classes, in their workplaces, in the pub, and in every other environment, because potentially you could be criminalised for what you say. It doesn't need to be malicious or hateful. It just needs to have offended somebody else. Yeah. We could call it the Fitter Pete law, definitely. I think it's a hateful piece of legislation. It's hateful in the genuine sense. Not in the sense that we going around our business expressing our opinions are hateful, but that it's a hateful attitude towards ordinary people. Yeah. And it's a hateful attitude towards the possibility of public discussion. I'm old enough to remember a time when people didn't look at everyone outside their family or their church as a stranger, when people had a spontaneous sense of solidarity with those that lived around us and those that shared our values. We assumed that people were innocent until they were proved guilty, and we had a completely different attitude towards our peers, even when we didn't agree with them. Government has encouraged us to look at each other with suspicion, and this legislation is the icing on the cake in this policy that wants us to take sides against each other. It's time for us to start to practice freedom and practice democracy. We've all got a little bit of muscle memory. We remember, those of us that are over 50, what it was like to live in a world where you didn't assume everybody else was a problem. And now we need to exercise that muscle memory. We need to start practicing democracy, speaking, listening, and getting together to say we won't take this.
Thank you, Penny. Let's make a promise to each other today. Are we prepared to go to jail for this? If you're not in jail with me, I want you to promise me you'll come and visit me. Let's visit one another. Let's inspire one another. Let's pay the price until the tide turns. Another great speaker for you to listen to for the next few moments. A warm welcome for Craig Houston, a new sensation on YouTube. A fantastic researcher. And he has lots of interesting analysis of the Scottish government. Hello.
First of all, just thank the Glasgow Cabbie, not only for organising this, but asking me to come along and speak to you today. So we're here because we hate. What is hate? Hate is an emotion, and although we can influence our own emotions, they're most often created by the actions of others. So now we have emotion laws. Having a society of zero hate is noble, but impractical. Society must allow some hate. The pretense that we can eradicate hate from society would require us not to hate someone who steals from us, abuses us, or kills our own. Although this may be possible for the most pious among us, it's not practical for all. Therefore, society must decide when hate is justifiable and when it is not. This magical line cannot be forced upon society by a small number in this building. Society must set the benchmark, not some who are sitting in power with around as little as 1,000 votes in this building. The Scottish public are not stupid. We are capable of knowing right from wrong. We are capable of drawing our own morals. We are capable of setting our society's moral compass. By creating these laws, you have not only put in danger us all of breaking the law by thought or emotion, but they've also removed society from moulding society. For over 500 years, the people of Scotland coped quite well in forming common law. We did not need the people in this building.
We still don't need them.
We did not need the people in this building to build a system of law that's respected and replicated the world over. Their job is to serve us. We are not to be browbeaten by them. We are not their subjects. They are our servants. They must stop acting, like the single state they believe they are. After 17 years of power, your time is up. If the people in this building had their way, we would also be subjected to the Named Person Act and the Gender Recognition Bill. Our children would not be ours, and our children would not be safe. The progressive laws they believe they have attempted to push through Parliament are not progressive, they are regressive.
Absolutely.
The desire to protect the interests of those perceived to be persecuted and minorities is righteous. But when they seek to prosecute and quash the majority and totally ignore women, then that is not how society is improved. This is how society is divided. We've seen 17 years of division. We've seen 17 years of ruining Scotland. And in 17 years we have seen enough. Enough is enough. I'm calling all Scots, not just Unionists, but like me, but all of us, to unite in a fight to remove this excuse of a party from both our parliaments, to rid Scotland of those who have ruined the country for Unionists and also ruined the possibility of independence for nationalists. If we can all bin our political differences for one Westminster election and one Holyrood election by tactically voting, we can not only rid Scotland of the SNP, but we could render this morally bankrupt party financially bankrupt. We have the power to remove them, and we actually have the power to destroy them. Do not be shy of this aim of destroying them. For that, my friend, would give Scotland real freedom. Not a Hollywood face-painted unicorn freedom delivered with an Australian accent, but proper grown-up freedom. And a parliament with big boy pants on. That can take the powers we do have and build a better Scotland for us all. Instead of blaming others for their failings and the powers that they don't have, we can then accept responsibility to improve Scotland by embracing the powers we definitely have. For those 17 years, those who have controlled this building and represented us in Westminster have blamed Westminster, they blamed Brexit, they blamed Tories, they blamed Labour. Blame the woman, aye. We use that, I can sort of get that one. The truth, however, Colin Beattie, Mary Black, Ian Blackford, Keith Brown, James Dornan, Stephen Flynn, Patrick Grady, Jamie Hepburn, John Mason, Michael Matheson, Christina McKelvey. There's that many of them, I've lost my way. Gavin Newlands, Anun Kazar, Angus Robertson, Shona Robinson, Tommy Shepherd, Alan Smith, John Swinney, Alison Thulis, Peter Wishart, and my least favourite two, Nicola Sturgeon and Hamza Youssef. The blame lies squarely with you. Mark Twain once said, we all have the thoughts that should shame the devil. The SNP now want us punished for them, while their acts would shame the government of hell. Enough is enough. If I am to be arrested for hating you, so mote it be. Thank you.
Enough is enough, hey? Proper grown-up government. That's what we want. Well done, Craig. That was fantastic. Well, from one pastor who is causing a stir here and gladly doing it, me, to another pastor who is a prophet for our time. Watch these pastors, by the way. They're trouble. Pastor Arthur O'Malley, a warm welcome for the pastor of Eastgate Church in Elderslie.
Well, hello, it's good to be back here in Edinburgh amongst the people of Scotland. You know, the Bible says evil triumphs when good people do nothing. It's time for us to take a stand, and I'm just grateful for all of you who have taken the time and trouble to come here, that we have recognised that these new hate crime laws that they have brought in today are actually going to be used against us, to suppress us, to stifle us from our conversations, put in fear. You're scared to say anything in case someone might object to it. Had a conversation with a lady on the railway, and she wants to, and she says, I don't know how to address people these days. They're having babies now in hospital, and they're saying, instead of saying you've got a boy or a girl, they say, here is your baby, in case someone is offended. What kind of world are we living in? And what kind of Scotland are we being subjected to? I am very privileged to stand here on behalf of the church, and I want to call the church out a little bit today. Many ministers of the dice the writing is on the wall, and this place should be flooded with ministers and with Christians realising that our free speech is under attack and the gospel itself is very much been attacked. You know, when John the Baptist came out of the wilderness, his first words were, repent, for the kingdom of God is come. And when Jesus came and started his ministry, he says, repent, for the kingdom of God has come. Now that word repent will become the biggest hate word that this government is going to hunt. Because you're not allowed to say to anybody to repent, which means to change your ways. It means to reform your ways. It means become a better person. That's what Jesus came to do, to make the world a better place. Unfortunately, the world has chosen to reject him. Hence the reason we're seeing all the crime and wickedness and evil today. But we need to take a stand, brethren. And therefore I thank Steph, the Glasgow Cabbie, and the Scottish Family Party for giving an opportunity to ask me to come and to address this. I will start with an apology for the state of the church in Scotland. They once were a strong voice for our people, but their voice now has been dumbed down. They have fallen down. They have not rose up and been the voice they should have been. They've become people pleasers. Should I say government pleasers, rather than being a God pleaser. This Bible now is one that we used to swear on in courts. We used to swear on it because it was the highest order it could have been achieved. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, God. But this government has chosen, they're wording very carefully, to demonize any dissenting voices that may have a different opinion other than the point of view that they have directing us. Words are powerful, brethren. Language is always used to transmit values, laws, cultural norms, including taboos. Language, since it expresses and reinforces culture, influences the personal identity of those living within the culture and creates boundaries and behaviour. This new hate speech law has a ring of moral goodness attached to it. Let's protect the vulnerable, the innocent. We're all for that, and for the multitude of broken people within our societies. But it has a sting in the tail. It will attack anyone who would disagree with their chosen beliefs and ideologies, in their desire to protect minorities with the full force of the law. They inadvertently, or shall I say deliberately, attack the majority of law-abiding citizens. This government and the majority of the major parties in Scotland are determined to change the face of Scotland and destroy our cultural heritage that defines us as a people, the Scots. China has been suppressing its people for a long, long time. You just have to see and look at the model of China. They control all things, the media, the police, law and order, social media. They watch their people all the time, and everybody is scared to say anything, or else the police will be at your door. Is this the road that Scotland has chosen? Is this the road that they have gone down? In China's case, we know what they're all about, complete control of its citizens. But what about the Scottish government? Are they going down the same road as China? Are they becoming dictators to the people? No more free speech, living under the threat that Big Brother is always going to be watching us. Everything we say or even post or someone else might say. Our very actions and every move is constantly monitored on these screens and walls around our cities and towns and places. I want to finish with a poem, or it may have been a song by Robbie Burns, our national poet. And it's Scots Wahey. I'm going to put my glasses on for this. I'll do my best to try and pronounce it in the Scottish tongue. I'm a bit hoarse. And it was Burns who might have imagined that what Robert Bruce before the Battle of Bannockburn. Scots wha hae, we Wallace bled. Scots wha Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day, and now's the hour. See the front of battle lower. See approach, proud Edward's power. Chains and labour. Why will you be a traitor knave? Why can fill a coward's grave? Why say base as be a slave? Let him turn and flee. Why for Scotland's king in law? Freedom's sword will strongly draw. Free man stand and free man fall. Let him follow me. By oppression's woes and pains, by your sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurpers low. Tyrants fall in every foe. Liberty is in every blow. Let us do or die. Scotland men, let us rise up and defend our children, defend our women, defend our families. We are the Scottish people. Let us rise up and defend our culture. Scotland the brave. God bless you all.
We've got 2 more speeches for you. But I want to ask you a question before we invite Niall to address us. Niall Fraser. Is this North Korea? Let me hear that again. Is this North Korea? No. Is this China? No. Is this Afghanistan? No. Is this Russia? No. This is Scotland! And it's a free Scotland! A free Scotland! That's what makes us different. This is what's going to shine through in the end. One welcome to another dear friend of mine, Niall Fraser. He's come to warm your hearts up.
Hello, can you hear me, everyone? Yes. Hello and welcome to the funeral for free speech, guys. We're minus a coffin, though. It broke down on the way here on M8. So there's a hearse halfway along the M8 at Hart Hill looking for the AA. So thanks for coming. It really does mean the world to me, guys. It really does. It shows me that righteousness isn't quite dead in Scotland. And before we properly start, I just wanted to say that I didn't bring you this. The Glasgow Cabbie didn't bring you this. The Scottish Family Party didn't bring you this. The people who work in that building behind us brought us this. Everyone here, I think, understands the importance of a day like this. A moment in time, never to come again. A brief second where we all collectively share the feeling of loss. We're all shouldering the pain in unison. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel? Grief? Pain? Despair? Well, I'll tell you what I'm feeling. It's betrayal. Betrayed by a government that's supposed to have our best interests at heart. Betrayed by a government that's supposed to be looking out for us. If you can believe that. Betrayed by a government that's supposed to be made up of our betters. Every single one of the MSPs that voted for this hate crime legislation are so full of their own self-importance they can't see the forest for the trees. They're trying to lead public policy instead of following the public's mandate. And better yet, they're leading us in completely the wrong direction, folks. We used to have mental asylums here, but now we've closed them down. All the patients have become politicians. And our parliaments have become the loony bins. Some of the folk that work in there, I wouldn't take my eye off them, even if they were in a straitjacket. But it's not all doom and gloom, guys. It's all right. It's not all doom and gloom. With the passing of one thing brings the coming of another. Sorry. This death today, this political assassination of free speech, this chainsaw to the legal system has only served to bring us all together here, folks. That's what it's done. Scotland's heroes of old are looking down on us today, filling our hearts with strength to succeed, the strength to overcome this evil Humza Yousaf. If Humza Yousaf thinks that he can just murder free speech and leave its body in the gutter and we won't react, he's got another thing coming. We've reacted in exactly the way we should have done. We've come together over this. It's this unification that spells doom for the SNP and spells doom for these MSPs and their green minions. It's this unification, this coming together that brings a brighter tomorrow, a brighter Scotland. We do not need to live in fear anymore. We do not need to live in the shadows anymore, folks. I will not allow my son to be born into a place where his thoughts and speech are policed. It's never going to happen. And I can see there's some police kicking about. And this one's directed at you. Is this what you signed up for? Am I naive in thinking that the police want to protect their communities? Never. Am I naive in thinking that? Do you really want to be Humza's dogs? Sicked on people accused of wrongthink? I don't think so. Folks, for me it all comes down to how we will be remembered. This life is a huge cosmic test and I intend on passing that test. How would you like to be remembered? Everyone here. Would you like to be remembered as the righteous soul fighting back against tyranny? Would you like to be remembered as the person who made that difference? The person who turned Scotland back for the brink? How you'd like to be remembered, folks, is entirely up to you. Now, we've got a lot of amazing friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age, and guide of youth. Few hearts like his with virtue warmed, few heads with knowledge, so informed. If there's another world, he lives in bliss. If there is none, then he made the best of this. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. You have all passed the cosmic test. Everyone here can meet their maker with a smile. Happy in the knowledge that you fought on the side of truth and liberty. You fought on the side of righteousness. Thank you all.
Don't shoot me. I'm going to thank Humza Yousaf. Don't shoot me. Why would I thank him? Because it's because of him we're all here. I've never met hardly any of you. But how heartened am I today that there's a lot more than a few dozen who are prepared to stand up for truth and for liberty. So thank you, Humza. You've poked the bear, and the bear is growling. Hallelujah. Let's get Alan the Miller to speak just before we hear from the Glasgow cabbie to conclude things here today. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Glasgow cabbie, and well done everyone for being here. This is a historic moment. My name's Alan Miller. I'm a co-founder of the Together Association. We have hundreds of thousands of supporters around the country, and we're here to say that we all support this fight for freedom with all of you together. And what we think we should do is go out and win out all our friends and colleagues and neighbours and the people that we work with and have these conversations and get them involved. We should remember that in this cradle of the Enlightenment, This place where people like Donald Robertson, who taught James Madison, who enshrined free speech in the Constitution, who created the very foundation of America with the idea of liberty, free speech and free expression, that these hundreds of years later, we're not going to allow the people in there to suffocate it and squash it out. Now my accent might be a bit different, but I stand shoulder to shoulder with everyone here. You have hundreds of thousands of supporters. And I'm going to keep it short, but just know that we're stronger together. Let's stand together and take back democracy together. What are we going to do, everyone? Thank you very much. Let's stand together, let's beat these people, and let's make Scotland free together.
Do not think for a moment this is going to be an easy fight. Do not think for a moment that this is going to be a walk in the park. This is going to be a sore one. But we're prepared to pay the price. And I want this crowd here to know that there's someone else here who's going to conclude things. The Glasgow cabbie who's paid a price for standing up. And we want to encourage him and thank him for organising this today. Thank you, Glasgow cabbie. Another warm welcome, in conclusion, to the Glasgow cabbie.
Listen, thanks a lot, and thanks very much to all of our speakers here. You've been wonderful. There's been quite a bit of planning in this, and there's a lot to be learned here today. We're delighted with the turnout. For all the weather has been miserable. You stand there with both your salt tyres, which I love. They do not belong to the SNP, they belong to Scotland. I also love to see that Union flag. And seeing there's been a bit of poetry here today, I'm going to recite a wee poem that I wrote about Nicola Sturgeon when she resigned only 5 weeks after our gender reforms demonstration here at Holyrood. And it goes like this. It's titled after a fish, the Royal Sturgeon. We fin-tailed after sturgeon like a great white shark in haste, a destroyer of our nation, but we had no time to waste. With her dreams of separation, or the envy words she spoke, kids' books will show in history how her dreams blew up in smoke. We celebrate the Union, for together we are strong. When gnats cry themselves to sleep at night, we'll sing joyfully in song. The Union flag is flying, in Great Britain we shall pray, as Scots in Saltire, ski and do, keep us Nazi cult at bay. We can see the country rising, look above, God knows it's true. Standing tall to save our children, the Union Jack, red, white and blue. Thanks once again to all of you. I know an awful lot of you have travelled big distances to be here for the top of Scotland, to away past Greenock and even some of the Isles. It's marvellous that you should commit yourselves to a day like this, but it's extremely important, and it's also shows an awful lot of people have digs at me on social media about this building behind us being empty today. This is not empty out here, and it was the location that mattered, and it was the fact that these laws are being enforced on this day, April Fool's Day. Like I said earlier, you just couldn't make it up. Anybody at all that collected a banner from me, if you don't mind, Charlene there is going to take them from you, and we're going to place them behind you. They're not my banners, and I'm delighted. Thanks once again to each and every individual that's come along here, all at the back, all at the front, and just everyone. Absolutely amazing turnout. Thank you.
Just leaves me to say thank you Thank you. Thank you. Any banners that you want displayed, we're going to take a photo. All banners behind me, and then those with cameras can take a picture from in front of me. If you want your banner displayed, flags, you name it, you can get behind me, and we'll have a big, crazy group photo. I'll leave you with one Bible verse. If God be for us, who can be against us?
Right, I know some of you were trying to... oh, look at my big head. Wow, it looks all zoomed in, hold on. Oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? What's a joke? This a joke? I don't know who 7 Seas Kronos is. Police are carrying out wrong orders, blame them. Excellent, Davey, thanks for streaming. Those that can't be there. Aye, that's no problem, guys. You want to come in? Aye, come on, you want to come back in? What do you want, Craig?
I'm not sure if that's recorded, so you can maybe send me my bit.
Mate, you can take it out. I'll let you take out the thing, mate. Just go on Guerilla TV channel and take it out, and you can see it. I think we've got it all, got you in focus. So what do you think the strategy is now, Craig?
Well, my strategy is I look forward to the Westminster election being called, so I can start telling people what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to tactically vote. No man has got the right to tell any other man how to vote.
The only thing, I know that in the Silver Fox has been saying this as well, Craig, to vote tactically. But if you're going for Labour or even the Conservative Party, you're still voting for the same people that brought in this Bill Act as well. I don't see a political change in the Labour Party from the SNP because they're both Islamist run, both left wing.
If we want to kid ourselves on that we can invent a new party over the next few months that will take power off them, we're kidding ourselves on.
Yeah,
so,
but there are other parties there floating about in the background.
There are, and if we want to vote for them, fine, but don't come and moan that the SNP get into power in your area if you vote for a new party. So I'm only telling you what I'm doing.
No, yeah, I understand. That's legitimate.
And I don't see the logic, and I get a lot of people tell me I should vote for reform, I should vote for...
I'll be voting for reform.
Yeah, and all I see that doing is splitting the non-SNP vote.
But I don't really see the non-SNP. I understand what you're saying get the SNP, but I don't see getting them out and putting somebody else in that'll bring in the same policy.
I think it's step one, because if you try to do something else, my fear is you'll end up the SNP again.
I know that is a bit of a chicken egg, but I think we have to move away from what we're actually already getting from on a policy basis.
Let's do that after we bankrupt the SNP.
Well, that's not far off, Craig, is it?
And the easiest way to do that is tactically vote. Because if they don't get their MPs into Westminster, they lose not only their shop money, but more important to them, they lose the levy that they get off these ministers. But this is a business or a party that's running the deficit without election years. So if we could do that in a Westminster election, and half the seats, half the levy, half the shop money, I don't see how they're a viable, financial viable operation.
Craig, tell us what they were actually complaining about, because you did something. Tell our viewers on the Guerilla TV what you did, and they were moaning about it when you're talking about where Hamza was sending the money from.
Yeah, Hamza Yousaf, I got an FOI on the
freedom of information
to the nations that went to the UNWRA, and I uncovered that the decision was to give to UNICEF, which I would have been quite happy with. That UNICEF's quite a safe charity as charities go, but he overturned the advice of civil servants and a decision made by ministers who decided to give the donation to UNICEF, and he said no, we're giving it to UNWRA. Subsequently, I then found out that the fund that he took it from was not legal to give, so it's been misuse of funds as well.
Has that been put forward to the ministerial complaints?
I believe it's at the I'm trying to remember the name of it. I've got it written down. The Equality. The Standards Committee.
The Standards Committee, yeah.
So they've got a complaint on that, but apparently they can take 45 months to come back to them. So I believe the misuse of funds is there, and I believe there's been a cover. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think
a cover up.
Because when Scottish Government make donations, they always say which fund it came from. They fail to do so with the both UNWRA ones. And when I got my first FOI back, I had 2 questions. The second question was, can you explain to me why they used the source of funds that they did? And it came back with justification of WEF, which is an environmental fund. When there is disasters, now that fund you could have used for Gaza, but there was no money left in it. So they just used the IDF now. So the two press releases failed to tell the Scottish public where the money came from. My Freedom of Information response, asking where it came from and to justify it, told us a different thing. And when I challenged it, they then came back and said, yeah, both the donations, the full £750,000 did actually come from the IDF. Because WEF had no money. And I've also got an email from Hamza Yousaf saying I'm meeting you NWRA next week, so we'll just give them the money and we'll worry about the consequences of the finances later. So, you know.
So, but there's not really any ability to hold corrupt or these individuals to account. There's no second chamber. There's no really hard-hitting things if you do something criminal or wrong. And when you're in office, there's nothing that really holds you to account.
No, there are vehicles there to deal with complaints, but if it's the same people you're complaining about, if the people you're complaining about and to are the same thing, then it does make life difficult. But I'll not stop. I've got this between my teeth, and I'll keep going as far as I need to with it. If that means going to Westminster, so be it. I'll leave what's done here.
Is this going down to the Met Police as well? Is that correct?
The Telegraph published a story, and they'd contacted the Met Police, and they found out there had been a complaint under some terrorism act. I don't know where that's went, how far that is, but they confirmed there was actually a terror complaint to the Met Police.
That's very interesting. Your channel seems to have blown up as well. Your channel's doing really well as well.
I've got nothing to compare it to, so I'll take the level it's at.
You're doing well with it. You're doing really well. You started as a football. Was it a football channel?
I started doing interviews as a hobby, and because of my past, I'd done a lot of campaigning previously with things on at Rangers, so my phone books were like ex-Rangers chairman and players, so naturally that's my first guest. And then it was going into other things. I've got a Queen's bodyguard to interview this week, other ex-footballers. I've done a KC just last week, so it's not, it's going out with that now as a reach. But that's why I started the channel.
And you train a children's football club in Cambuslang?
No, I used to years ago.
Was it?
When I first started coaching kids, thank you sir. When I first started coaching for kids football, it was in Cambuslang from Sagard FC back in 2008, but I started my own club about 8 years ago.
By the way,
thank you, darling.
I used to play at Cambuslang for the rugby. So I used to. Thanks very much. Thank you. I used to play at the Cambuslang rugby team, which was my bit of.
Now the crowd's disappearing a wee bit.
Yeah.
Craig, was that?
Craig is uniting the working classes. Yeah, so you can see the comments as well.
Craig, thank you for that.
I know you say that. Obviously,
I'm not one for telling folk what to do. I try and tell folk what I'm doing, and if one or two want to stand beside me and do the same, I'm grateful of that. So if some people feel I'm uniting anybody, then I'll take that as a compliment and appreciate. Today I thought I might turn up here and one or two people might know me. But I can't walk past folk.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's a testament to your channel. You've done really well with your channel. And it's been very interesting as well.
Well, you sit in the house and you make your videos and you go to the studio and do some interviews and you put them in the ether. You get some comments online, but you're never sure how that relays onto real life. But today, amazing. I came out the car park. In fact, I just came out the car in the car park and a guy came over and then all the way along the street and then here. It's been amazing. It's been very emotional, to be honest with you. Quite humbling.
So you don't really realise what sort of difference you're making. I know that I don't get a big audience, but what I do is I influence people who are very high up the political sphere, and I know that our channel makes a big influence, even though it's probably smaller.
And when you get that reaction, you sort of think, wow, how did that happen? I've had the channel for a year now, but I only started doing the political stuff about November, and it wasn't even Matheson ripping folk off, it was the lies. And I just thought, enough's enough. I've got this wee channel with 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers. I'm going to start a video at today, and it went boom.
Wow!
And I've done one with Nicola Sturgeon. It's hit 130,000 or whatever. And 10,000's a benchmark. It explodes at 50 and 100,000.
Yeah, our channel's been suppressed. We're one strike off being actually nuked. So because we did a lot of things with the vaccine stuff, and they put 2 strikes against the vaccine stuff as well. So I'm one off getting nuked anyway. But we'll have our own Well, I've already got my own website, but the website will go for live streaming. We'll all do it through our own as well. And for people like yourself, if anything happened to your channel, we'll have something to put it on as well.
That's a good thing. So I'm going to now.
Yeah,
I lost
that's
my
great.
microphone, so now that the crowds are starting to.
See if you can find it.
Hope so, 'cause I'll need to
You might
buy
find
another
somebody else's gear as well, Craig.
Thanks very
And
much,
congratulations. And keep up the good work as well, mate.
Thanks
And if
for
you need me,
saying.
guerillaTV@gmail.com.
If this isn't recorded or the sound shite, I'll maybe take you up now.
No problem, mate. No problem. No problem. No problem.
It's important.
No problem. That's okay. No problem at all. How you doing? It's a bit cold.
A little bit nippy. Little bit nippy.
It's a bit nippy, yeah. It's
I got
freezing.
here slightly 2 hours early, but you know,
Yeah.
it was important and Steph needed the support.
Yeah. Let me keep going because I'm going live just now. But thank you very much. So, Craig Houston, what are you saying, guys? You can now make your comments just now, boys and girls, because I'm now can actually read them. Couldn't read them before, and that's why I couldn't comment in the comments. So this is horrific. So this is going out. This will go out internationally to the world. How embarrassing what the SNP, what Hums has actually put forward. This is an embarrassment to Scotland in the way that they've actually put forward this bill, and to actually mitigate speech for criminality up to 7 years in jail. This is only the equivalence. The only equivalence would be the Stasi, and this extreme left-wing ideology that's not just been brought in. It's not just brought into Scotland, but this is the fundamentals of the ideology that they've actually brought in. I'm going to unclip this and do this round. Hi there, ladies. How you doing? How you doing? I'm live streaming, sweetie. I'm live streaming. So it's a force for good. Force for good, isn't it? Force for good. Do you get Craig there? They are. What the fruitcake accent? No one on the planet. It's shocking. I'm not quite sure what's shocking. You need to give me context, guys. What's shocking? So, let me just. How many people came out today? There was hundreds of people. This is just actually quieting down. People are away now. The speeches have gone. Hundreds of people were here. In Scotland first, yeah, it's going to be done in Scotland first. If you vote for Labour, they'll bring it in for the rest of the UK. They've already voted for it in Scotland. The SNP, yeah, the SNP brought it in, but it's supported by the Liberal Party, the Labour Party, the Greens. It's supported by nearly everybody in Scotland. Scottish politics only, and also one of the Conservatives voted for it as well. So, John, how you doing, mate? See if we can get a wee chat. Thanks, aye, no problem, Hank. Good to see you, buddy. Who did you vote for? None of the above. None of the above. It depends on what election, mind you. But I wouldn't be voting for any of those. I'd vote for UK Reform now, because they're the one that's most likely to challenge. All the rest of them voted this in. John, are you free?
Aye, quick, I can't be too long.
John, well, no, John Watts, obviously.
This is soon, still waiting for him, by the way. Still waiting.
It was excellent, John, excellent. John, first of all, how's your health, brother?
Something doing, mate. Had a bit of a setback a couple of weeks ago. I had to go back to hyperbaric oxygen chamber because of the chronic fatigue and all that. I've still got the dizziness, still got a lot of things going on, but I'm still here and I'm still...
It's still kicking off, right?
So I'll give you a phone, mate. Still trying to bring the noise, as I say. After I'll give you a phone, mate. I'll give you a phone. I'm just here to, you know what I mean?
That was great speech, I loved it. I thought it was terrific.
I'll probably get a fine now with me getting a fine, but listen, mate, I'm only here to try and... It's time for everyone in Scotland to stand together. It doesn't matter if you know, there's too much in-house fighting nowadays, and it's like everyone needs to put it aside. Like the numbers here, there's so many different causes right now, and we all need to start bringing everyone together. It doesn't matter if you don't like that person, don't like this.
Yeah.
It's that we have to stand together. That's all.
Run off. Can I do something with you?
Aye.
Together, yeah?
Give me 2 seconds. So look, anybody watching right now, like I said, it's time for us all to get together. There needs to be new politics put in place. We need this government. If we continue the way it's going, we're not going to be able to say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
I'm going to push for
John,
them.
a pleasure, mate. Bear going to be your man. Thanks. So, let's just have a wee walk around, see if you see anybody else. Why get a force for good? Where are the boys for the force for good? What are we doing, bud? You are bang on John. John's a good guy, isn't he? He's a nice fella. He's always been quite good. We obviously did it when the COVID stuff was about as well.
This is to represent that free speech is now dead here in Scotland. The home of the Enlightenment is now gone. Washed away by stupid legislation. The Chief Constable, wait!
Don't know where he's gone. So I don't know where he's gone. Disappeared on me. Then why are you still speaking, laddie?
Without the thought of being prosecuted, without the thought of getting taken to jail, without being trialled by a jury of our peers, simply because we've said that a spade is a spade. That is the principle of the matter, and that's how people need to think, that you should not be prosecuted for saying what you believe to be true. Just because somebody may be offended by a word that you use, the English language is there for a reason. What are we going to stop doing? Teaching our kids how to speak?
Right, I don't know where he's going. Disappeared on me.
I'm not finished.
You want to chat? So, I see, this side. Go this side. I see they're trying to ban you again. Are they? The non-authoritarian way that they seem to be wanting to ban everybody else, put them down in jail.
Well, do you know what? The situation for all those of us who work in the alternative media field is a very serious issue.
Yeah.
Because, as we heard from the speakers today, a lot of what is hate is a purely subjective thing. What one person thinks may be hate is going to differ from what another person thinks is hate.
Yeah.
And so it's not a very clear law at all. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to just really use this, as we also heard from the speakers today, as a way of simply suppressing alternative political points of view.
Did they not want to try and ban your political party?
Oh, independent
the
Green Voice,
Greens,
yes.
They were trying to ban them.
What they're trying to do is to appeal to the Electoral Commission to say that my political party, which is Independent Green Voice, is somehow illegitimate. But the fact is, my party has been registered since at almost the same time as the Scottish Greens registered, which is way back in 2003.
Wow.
So basically, they've got no leg to stand on. and we're a legitimate political party. We always campaign at elections. We always return a relatively good vote for a fringe party such as ourselves, and so they don't have any hope. The only chance they have of banning independent Green Voice is if, God forbid, Scotland became independent and you had people at Hamza Yousaf deciding who is allowed to stand and who's not allowed
They're
to stand.
absolutely a bunch of fascists, aren't they? It's
I know,
unbelievable.
absolutely, and this law today shows that. But I think what's happened today is a lot of people have come out. And they have basically said we're not going to be standing for this, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that it doesn't succeed. And my hope is that it will become one of these SNP laws that simply is so unworkable that it has to be repealed.
I think so. Another one
after the offensive so-called behaviour at football games act.
Do you think you have to be an idiot to actually get these laws in the first place? It's like a retard's gallery of failed bills and acts, isn't it?
It is, and unfortunately that speaks to the quality of our politicians. Which we have here. And
Alistair is an independent green chant. They're saying...
Oh, right, good. Twigman, good to hear you. Shout out to Twigman. He's always on our streams as well. Good man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's interesting. And what did you think of the turnout and everything?
I was happily pleased with this turnout because, I wondered just how many people would come out on a bank holiday Monday on a rainy, cold day in Edinburgh. But that turnout is higher than most of us would have expected.
Yeah,
So
I think that was higher than the COVID thing, and I think it was higher than the gender bill as well.
It was
So,
indeed.
it was certainly the biggest, and I think there's a lot of people watching on stream as well. So
It was good. I'm glad you got a lot of people on your stream also.
Yeah, good stuff. And are you standing in the general election?
That's still to be decided.
Will you be standing in the Scottish?
Again, these things are still to be decided. But we stood at the Hillhead by-election, and we had a good team on the ground, and we did a lot of good work there, and we got a reasonable result for a party such as ourselves at that time. So I was pleased with that.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Well, it's always good to have you on the Guerilla TV, and always good to see you.
All the very best to Guerilla TV, and you do great work part of Scottish alternative media, and we need guys like you now more than ever.
Thanks very much, we appreciate it, Alistair. Thank you, and
welcome.
anytime. Thank you. Well, my baby gorillas, I think that's me nearly done here. Let me pull this off. That's better. That thing, just holding about that thing is an absolute torturous. Anyway, so I think it's all pretty much closing down. But the actual fight for freedom of speech is only just starting. So this is going to be the future movement against this bill, against this draconian Stasi-esque bill. And this again, another bill and act brought forward by the extreme left. I mean, it's not a nationalist party, it's an extreme left neo-communist party with Islamist tendencies and globalist shilling. And these are the basic tenets. Globalist Islamo-Marxist party is the SNP, Greens, Labour, even the illiberal Liberals. I'm amazed this went through. Yeah, I'm amazed it went through as well. But it's been supported by everybody, so you're obviously not understanding who you're actually voting for if you don't understand comedy will die for sure. Yeah, they've not got a sense of humour. I think they're all autistic, but they've not got a sense of humour. And that's why they don't want comedy, because they're probably autistic. How you doing? Let's see if we can get... Let's see if we can get a wee chat. Do you want a wee chat? Aye, not bad, buddy. Do you want a wee chat? Aye, sorry, that's fine. Just carry on. Hold on, we'll get the organiser. Hold on. Let me square this up. Woo! Give me 2 seconds, we'll see if we can get a wee chat here with the organiser. Holyrood Palace behind us for the international audience, which is the Queen's residency in Edinburgh. But I'll tell you, it's getting a bit chilly, and I now need to find out where Dankula is doing the Comedy Unleashed thing. Need to hunt that down, try and get a ticket, sneak in, do SAS moves through the windows, and try and get into the Comedy Unleashed thing. I don't even know where it's being held. Don't even know who to ask. Glasgow Cabby, congratulations, that was excellent. The most unlikeliest man to get a big, huge movement is Glasgow Cabby, or is it? I think that's the most likely man to get a freedom movement, because cabbies have always got very great and based opinions, haven't they?
Aye, well, we can have, but it wasn't all about the Glasgow Cabby today. It was about the people of Scotland that rallied to the cause and rallied to the request to be here. Many politicians were actually here, and there was actually 1 or 2 police officers in their civic clothing and in disguise here today.
Because they're now becoming like the Stasi.
Aye, we are mounting a challenge against the Scottish Government and Hamza Yousaf and this crazy hate crime law. It's absurd.
Draconian. It's 1984.
It's as ludicrous as J.K. Rowling said. It's actually shocking, and it will affect every citizen in this country.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Why?
All the best to you, thank you.
And why did you decide to take this on? You're correct to do it, but why did you decide that this was your issue that you wanted to stand on?
Well, I've been campaigning and a community activist now for around 7 years. I've ran a number of successful campaigns, including the most important Think Again campaign at the River Clyde in Glasgow on suicide prevention. We were also here on the 12th of January last year for the gender reforms, to which Nicola Sturgeon resigned only 5 weeks later.
Which was a welcoming time for all of Scotland. I'm surprised the Wicked Witch of the West has not resigned as an MSP with her 3 criminal charges or 3 criminal inquiries, shall we say, on the offing.
Yes, she's under investigation, and this lot to come out while the SNP are under strong investigation on very serious crimes.
Murderous crimes?
Aye, murderous crimes. So, you know, it's very important that we had a good turnout today, and I'm absolutely delighted with the turnout. There were hundreds upon hundreds of people here, and it's delightful to have seen them.
Well, you obviously got a good support. The Guerilla TV channel was obviously going to support you as well. We just need to find out where Comedy Unleashed is doing it, so we can go up and see the guys, because the guys have come up for comedy, which is also being affected.
I'm aware of that, yes.
And the guys are coming up to be hopefully abusive, and I've got to find a ticket and find out where they are.
Get there and do your best.
Thanks very much, Glasgow Cabby.
All the best.
Glasgow Cabby's got a channel as well, is it?
Glasgow Cabby Facebook.
Yep.
If you want to subscribe to it, in fact, you just come on, follow the page, and be delighted to welcome you on.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations on a great turnout.
Cheers.
So, my baby gorillas, that's Glasgow Cabby, get in there, that's Glasgow Cabby, join the Glasgow Cabby. He organised this, he did very well, I think him, the family party as well, Scottish Libertarians were there as well. So we've got some, and obviously Alistair, so there's a number of political entities who are non-aligned. He's the boss, yeah, he's certainly a nice fella, isn't he? So, thanks for streaming this and interviewing, no problem, brother, thank you very much. So I think that's it, I think this is about as exciting as it gets. Now I need to find Comedy Unleashed, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Where are they going? My baby gorillas.